Hello, Aries. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot, and it is time for our December readings. As always, these are general intuitive readings for a general Aries audience. So please take what resonates for you and leave the rest for another Aries. I try to toss out a bunch of examples for how the energy might show up for you. There you are. Ooh, okay. Nice. But of course, this is a general reading, so not everything that comes out is going to be for you. I invite you to check out the videos for your major astrological placements. So, like your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign, if you know it. That helps give you the fullest, sort of picture for what might be coming up for you in December. And I've got the Star Maiden Tarot here. Now I'm also going to pull a rune card from the Runes for Modern Life. And then I've also got the classic Wisdom of the Oracle over here. So let's pull a rune. 1, 2, 3. Hagalas. Okay. Okay. So starting with your rune here, Hagalas is it's a little bit like the tower in the tarot, if you're familiar with that. Hagalas is the rune meaning like hail. So it's kind of like a storm comes in. It's not to disturb you, but it does kind of tend to indicate that something can happen that might cause a bit of a delay or an issue or something that you have to deal with. So, this is exactly why we come to the tarot or why we come to a sign reader, right? So we have the kind of foreshadowing or the heads up that there might be a little bit of a storm or a blip or something that we have to deal with. So this way we know. Now, of course, in December, with all of the kind of holiday madness going on, with all of the holiday parties for work and for family and for friends that we have to deal with, we're still dealing with the end of the Mercury shadow, the Mercury retrograde and the Mercury retrograde shadow. So that does tend to mean there's problems with like sometimes travel, sometimes like computer issues, sometimes car issues and stuff. So it's just a reminder here to remember to plan in a little extra time for like travel delays, for issues at the store, if you have to buy a lot of gifts or gift cards or things like that, to or if you're buying online, even just leave a little extra time for shipping and things like that, because there can be issues around that kind of thing. Your other oracle card here is deep knowing, and this might be the best way to deal with, kind of the storm or the kind of delays or the issues that Hagalas presents. And this is trusting your gut. Deep knowing reminds us that, you have a great intuition. You are good at reading the room. You're good at judging people, just kind of based on you're good at clocking a vibe, as they say. So, if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And so trust your intuition, whether it's about a situation, whether it's about, not going out too late or not going to a particular neighborhood, or, you know, uh, if a bargain online looks too good to be true or something, especially when it comes to, a potentially negative situation, trust your gut, or potentially sketchy person online, if you're on a dating app or something like that, and trust your gut. I hate to start with that, negative flavor, because your reading actually has some really wonderful highlights, especially the last week of the month here. So let's go ahead and look at your tarot. Now, the first week, we have the Two of Swords paired with the Five of Pentacles. This is another row where you're being offered a bit of heads up. The Two of Swords tends to indicate a time when you have a decision to make, and it's not an ideal decision. Usually with the Two of Swords, you can be offered a couple of options that neither seem totally ideal, and that could be because you haven't been given enough information. It usually seems when the Two of Swords comes up like you're presented with an either this or that, or you feel like you have to choose between this or that, when really it could be that there's a third option or another way to solve the problem that doesn't seem evident yet, or you haven't considered it yet, or it wasn't presented to you, but there might be a better option that is a third unstated option for you. Neither of the two sort of obvious options might not be the way to go, or certainly you don't have enough information at the start to go either way. And this card is actually giving you permission to not make a choice until you have enough information to feel good about either option, or going with a third option. You do not have to commit to something you don't feel great about committing to. So there's that. And this is paired with the Five of Pentacles, which is a card that reflects a lack of resources. This can literally be about a lack of funds, not having enough money for something, but it can also be, this comes up for me more often when I'm not feeling like I'm up to a task, or I'm literally like sick, like I have run myself ragged. I have had too much going on, and I have, caught a cold, or I need a nap, especially for those of us in the US who have just, done the Thanksgiving thing, and now we have to rush back into, dealing with all of the holidays, upcoming winter holidays, and the kids' choir concerts, and all of the doing the stuff for work, and the Secret Santas, and the da-da-da. It can be a bit overwhelming. So the choice you could be making could be between holiday parties, and none of them seem great, or Secret Santas, and maybe not. So the choice could be, opting out. If you need to say, this year I can't be the room parent for the holiday extravaganza for my kids' fifth grade party, or whatever it is, it could be that opting out for self-care might be the choice you need to do. It could be that you've got, if the choices are conflicting things that are going to be too difficult for you to do, and you don't have the resources either mentally, physically, then maybe just saying no is the best choice. Just tossing that out there, something to consider. But in any case, this first column is giving you the support to say no or not yet, because of your own sort of resources, not having enough information and not having enough resources to move forward at this time. If that changes later in the month, great, but Aries, you're such a giver, you're such a doer. Maybe just not this particular week. How about that? Okay, moving into the next week, though, we have you returning in strength. We literally have the strength card here. So whatever was ailing you in the first week, it has moved on, or you've recovered, or you're feeling much better. Both of these cards indicate that you are back to your old self, feeling much better. The Queen of Wands is an Aries card, right? So you're feeling confident, you're feeling magnetic. Whatever decision had to be made, or whatever you did over here to protect yourself or self-care or whatever, did the trick. So you're back to making strong choices, feeling raring to go, feeling your strong, capable, confident, in charge, boss lady self. Now, in the next sort of week here, we have a new opportunity and sailing on from troubled waters. So I'm really seeing that whatever this sort of no was or not yet, it really allowed you to catch your breath or whatever and do what you needed to do to make the choices to open up a new door to a new opportunity. The Ace of Pentacles can often be literally like a new job, or a new going back to school to, finish your license. Take that as it resonates for you. But it's starting a new chapter that allows you to move forward with some of your major life goals. This isn't just scratching off a lottery ticket and winning, a $10 lottery ticket. This is one of those major sort of making a choice that starts a whole new chapter that changes or supports a life direction, right? And here we have you with the Six of Swords, moving on out of chaos, out of, this sort of stress or confusion or frustration over here, into calmer waters. The Six of Swords is having made that decision that held you up over here, and having had enough information to choose and moving forward, moving out of that place of not having enough towards a better, brighter day. And literally, we see moving from this darkness over here. Look at you can see it even in the art. In this final column, we have this bright new cycle. The Four of Wands is a party card. And so certainly, we tend to have parties in that final week of December, right? But the Four of Wands is often tied not to just general holiday parties, but there's usually an achievement associated with it. So you may be graduating something, you may be having an opening night party, or maybe getting engaged. Please take that as it resonates for you. It's not going to come out of the blue. For all Aries, obviously, but it usually comes with something to celebrate, something you've accomplished, a life goal, to some degree or other. It could be a promotion or something like that. So something to celebrate at the end of the year that, again, We saw it with the Ace of Pentacles, and we see it more clearly here. The Fool is a new chapter, starting a new phase. As we start the new year, you have stepped into, maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a new role at the old job, maybe it's retirement. For some of you, it could be something like that. Maybe it's, again, getting married, getting engaged. That's a whole new life role. Pregnancy. The Fool can symbolize a whole new sort of, as I've said, chapter in your life where you get to be kind of a newbie, but you're excited about it. So take that as it resonates for you, Aries. So even though we have a bit of a storm and the first week doesn't feel ideal, give yourself a moment. Don't feel rushed into a decision, especially if you're under the weather, especially if you're really feeling this lack of resources. Do what you need to do to make the right decision for you, to give yourself, the headspace to make the right decision. And when you do that, you'll really see your strength return and the clarity to make this new opportunity for yourself and celebrate your accomplishment. So there you have it, Aries. What a great way to end 2025 and launch yourself into 2026. I hope you love it. If you enjoyed this reading, I invite you to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. In any case, thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, take good care. Bye for now.